Okay, so that's quickly about me. And I will just show you a small presentation. Just give me one moment. Right, I hope you can see my slide. Yeah, right. Okay, so what we are talking about is open learning. A lot of different people use different terms. Some people use the terms of unschooling, homeschooling, free schooling, open education, travel education. These are just different terms. What to us is really not, the terms are obviously not important. What is really important is to realize that there are so many options, and one would rather decide which option works for us, for one's family or one's child, rather than just running behind thinking that there is only one way to go through the journey of whatever you call as education. Obviously, at one end is the totally structured kind of schooling, which we are all familiar with, schooling and college, and on the other side is the child-driven structure or child-driven curriculum where the child decides. So, and in between, at different points of time, one can move, one can go back to more structure, less structure, and so on. More, more child-driven, more outside-driven. However the family wants. So I think that's the most beautiful part, that we don't need to get stuck with any one thing. We can explore and evolve as our journey kind of moves ahead. Yeah. So we kind of started many years back. I was saying about 15 years back, thinking what is the purpose of education. And when we looked around, it looked like that everybody's kind of thinking of education as something to give you a job, but that was not the idea. That we liked. We don't still like it, that the idea of learning or education is to earn something. The earning is kind of a byproduct. More important is to live, and live how one likes to live. Yeah? And when one lives, one automatically learns. There is no, two ways about learning and living. They're just two are synonyms: living, learning, education. And if we look at it that way, then we suddenly realize, oh, so what does open learning mean? Or why do open learning? Because we're living. And when we're living, we could be learning because that's what our interest is, or that's what the child wants to, get into, or the child just wants to not get into this pressure, or rather explore oneself and one's own, joys, if I may call it. So in a way, what we are saying is that the child can be the leader of himself or herself if we let the child be the leader. And it makes a lot of sense to us that, hey, why should we lead the child, or any system lead the child? Why can't the child lead himself or herself and go about learning based on what the child is liking at that moment? Just like how a small child, a toddler, would learn language, or would learn how to walk or run or cycle, not because it's part of any curriculum, but because that's what the child wants. If people are speaking a particular language in his or her home, that's what the child wants to learn, because he wants to communicate, he wants to connect with everybody. So that's how naturally children learn, and they learn because it's their need, it's their want, it's their interest. And that's what kind of is the first thought that on which open learning is based on. Let the child lead. And if you look at it that way, then the whole world literally becomes our curriculum. Everything that's happening in this whole world is beautiful, and the child can literally choose what the child wants to do. Could do embroidery, could do agriculture, could do cooking, could do mathematics, could do singing, could do carpentry, whatever each individual wants to do. And the whole idea is, isn't everything so beautiful? And not just do whatever the child would like to do, but also how the child would like to do. Some of us like to be taught, while some of us like to just look up resources or try it out ourselves, uh, or work with somebody who we can call as a peer, and so on. So there are different ways, and we don't have to catch the child and put the child in front of us and say, learn this. We can let the child evolve and see how he or she may want to learn something. Which is where, if you see this little graphic on your screen as part of our slide, becomes very interesting. We realize that there's learning literally in every inch of this world. There is learning within the families, friends, neighborhoods, locality. There's so many options in the city or locality where we are living, and obviously the whole world is nowadays at our fingertips. So the learning becomes accessible to all of us in so many different ways. And that's when the child can decide, hey, how do I want to learn? Maybe I want to learn from my grandmom or my neighbor, or from a YouTube video. Everything is super. The third thought that comes is, hey, why do we need to assess the child? In fact, none of us like being assessed. We all like just doing things, and sometimes we are successful and sometimes we fail, and that becomes all a part of our journey. What that means is that then the whole approach is not about how well we have learned, but how all we can learn, and what all we can learn, and how much we want to learn. And we can literally learn from anybody and everybody, and we need not even learn just a skill or a concept. We can just learn being happy from somebody, and being cool from somebody, and being patient from somebody, and so on. So the whole life becomes and everybody else becomes a resource, and the whole life becomes like a canvas on which we paint our own learning journey. Finally, we realize that we don't really need to go or necessarily go to a school or a college or get a degree. People can find their own paths. Yes, there's nothing wrong with college or degree if somebody wants to go that route. But there are many more options, like self-learning, like internships, apprenticeships, and so on and so forth. So I want to share one little video of a couple of Aarohi young adults, I would call them, and Lakshita is actually in this video, and she's also here in this call. So let's see what they are talking about, how they are wanting to learn.
Hey guys, I'm Srishti and I'm 13 years old. I'm really passionate about writing, and today I want to introduce a concept to all of you called the co-learning cohort. A co-learning cohort is a place where we all get together and deep dive into our specific interests and passions. For example, if I like writing in my cohort, me alongside with other like-minded people will explore deeply in writing. Think of it as a school or a college, except that the curriculum is designed by us, for us. That will allow you to explore deeply into your area of passion without any constraints or having boundaries set by other people. This allows you to completely immerse yourself in your area of passion. If you're truly passionate about something, you should join the co-learning cohorts to have the experience of your life.
Co-learning cohorts are a small group of people who learn together because of their shared interest or passion. We work together, pull and push each other, and we learn more about the industry we're interested in, and we grow together. That's it.
Hey guys.
Okay, so these were these two girls talking about how they are taking their own learning as part of forming groups, which we call as cohorts, and then working together towards converting their passions into professions. So what we're really, if you like me to summarize all of this, to me the whole idea is that open learning means that, hey, we are giving responsibility of a child's learning and life in the child's hand or the learner's hand. And that makes a lot of sense, at least to us, because first of all, we are all responsible according to us. And also, when we get that responsibility, we grow that responsibility. We grow that responsibility by doing a lot of different things, because that's what essentially we are all. We are all doers, right? And we like doing things which makes us feel accomplished. And that's how the kind of journey evolves. Yes, as parents, we can have a lot of different roles. We can be just there with them. We can help them. We can support them. We can be um, a kind of a catalyst in their whole journey. So we get to play a very exciting and an interesting role of a co-passenger rather than trying to be a you know mm, somebody who takes up their responsibility. Rather than that, we give them their responsibility and we say, now I'm with you and you are with me, and we are kind of supporting each other. In a way, we are facilitating each other. The child facilitates the parent and the parent facilitates the child. And in this whole journey, obviously, there will be a lot of problems, a lot of challenges, and those all become, I would say, source of learning rather than problems. So by itself, problems are great, awesome, they are amazing, and we welcome problems because that's what becomes our opportunity to learn, right? So in a way, this is a typical journey of a child in an open learning where at a younger age they start with a lot of exposure, and soon they move into exploring their own interests. And as they grow older, they can choose one or few of their interests and go deep dive into it, develop their expertise. And then out of those interests, if they want, they can convert some of them into what can be called as enterprise, or where they can start earning or career or profession, whatever term you may want to use. So that's the general, you can say, progression of an open learner. Uh, the basic idea being that, hey, we kind of co-learn and co-support together. So what Aarohi is nothing but a community of families who are doing open learning, first of all, in their own homes as their own families. And then as families, we have come together to kind of support each other, do this journey with each other, learn from each other, and create many more possibilities for each other, right? So the whole idea being that, when we are all together, it just becomes more richer. We connect based on our interests. So a child may connect to a parent may connect to another parent, and so on. And children will connect among themselves. They'll end up doing things together. We do theater together. We could do music together. We could do programming together. Anything we can do together. And obviously, we can mentor, support, child supporting child, child supporting adult, adult supporting child. All of that goes hand in hand. So, yeah, that is what is Aarohi. It's a community, which means geographically we could be anywhere. You could be in your home. You could also come to the campus, since Aarohi has a campus near Bangalore, but in Tamil Nadu. Also, you could meet other families at their home, so it's not even limited to campus or home. Different families can get together and do different things, and even travel together, because travel is such an amazing way to expose and explore. So that is what Aarohi is. Yes, you are welcome to visit campus. That's one way. But more importantly, let us kind of spend some time and explore and understand what is open learning. So yeah, so let's open the discussion. My time to make a presentation is over. Over to you, Dwiji, to start off the discussion, and we can take it from there.
Yeah, thank you, Ratnesh. Usually every week we have a theme, and today we were planning to discuss about the idea of learning being a lifelong process, and how self-directed learning is actually practiced by everyone. Everyone who's living is learning, and nobody else is, most of the cases, nobody else directs them unless one individual decides to take over another's direction, which most parents do, not just as individual, but as a couple most of the time. So in the idea of self-directed learning, the idea is to, in the practice of self-directed learning, the objective is to let children drive their own lives, and even when they are children, quote unquote children, and also to find the child within ourselves to continue our process of learning, even if we are not considered children but are considered adults. So that's the topic for the day, but we don't have to limit ourselves to the ideas of or sharing experiences and questions about this particular topic, but rather any question you might have about open learning. We'll try to stick to open learning in the first half hour, a little more than half an hour, maybe. And then we can shift towards questions about Aarohi itself. And yeah, so the floor is open, and please feel free to ask questions, share experiences, or anything that you, any thoughts that you might have, or questions you might have about these things. Thank you.
Right. So the floor is open. Please ask questions or throw in your ideas or thoughts.
Sir,
Go ahead. Please share, Velman.
sir, I have question. The thing is that in actually in open learning, when my kid is in her holidays, I could see she's just um, having screen time more, mobile time more and more. So how about this thing will be handled in open learning, sir? Because I have this question me hindering me more. How will be the day? Because I could feel that when we are led to go with our flow, we will be happy and choosing our path, and we'll be going so deep inside. Okay. We'll be going so deep inside. How about kids, sir? How to make them? Because after a stage, I could see them into mobile. I could also accept that when the people in family use mobile, kids also will just get into mobile. But how about handling this in case of open learning? Yeah, hi sir, hi sir. In case of open learning, sir, what step should we do? Because should we travel always? What sort of things we should look into? Because I could just go uh, uh, in in line with our theme or our way. I don't know how to handle this. Should we change? What should parents do here? How should we take this to the next step? Because I could see her more and more and more. Every day she's just enjoying her screen time. In school, she'll be putting her homework. In holiday,
Sure.
matching completely.
Who would like to respond to Velmani's question?
Wilmani, I'll just try. Who's that? Did you want to go? Go.
No, please. I was just coaxing people to talk. क्या हो गया? आज
अच्छा,
इतना
अच्छा।
सब चुप है।
दिवाली का मिठाई अभी तक हजम नहीं हुआ है सबका। नहीं, Wilmani, I was just trying. I'll just try and address. I don't know if it's the answer or something, but the point here is we usually see this scenario like children into screen time or something. You feel they're just occupied and passively into it. So firstly, screen kind of bracketing screen time is something which is useless, is a one subject by itself. So I'm not getting there first, but the point is probably the child is so involved into doing things probably which the child doesn't want to do, say going to school or certain things, that screen time is only time when the child feels relaxed or feels this is my time, and that's when the child wants to get into that space and that zone as a break free thing from something else. But when the life as a routine becomes something very interesting, probably you may not want to go to screen as much as you want to otherwise. It's like just to uh, break free of that particular routine, which probably you're not enjoying or something. You just seek for instant relaxation, and that's how the screen time and all comes into play. uh, that's what I feel, because I am a father of 9-year-old daughter, and with us, we don't see that issue with our daughter. We are into this open learning for last 2.5 years, and screen time has not been a very any issue as such. It's never been a problem as such, and doesn't she even doesn't want to do much of it. She's busy doing her reading. She loves going to gymnastics. She likes doing things. She likes writing. She loves cooking. There are many other avenues that where she finds spending her time. In fact, there are times when I call her and say, okay, Mish, come, let's play, and she would say, no, I have to finish one of my project. Let me first finish that. Or come on, let's watch a film together, and she would say, no, no, today I have to finish this because this is my commitment and I have to do this. So this is what. So again, that's what I have experienced. So that's what I'm sharing.
Anybody else wants to share? Tuji, you were sharing something.
How everybody is so quiet today. Quite a few of the community members today. Sakila has also joined. And yeah, just been quiet. With regard to screen time, my only thought is that just as phones are unavoidable in life today, so are screens. So the sooner children get to know how to manage their own screen time, which frankly I have not been able to manage myself. I mean, there are times when I use a lot more screens than I should be doing probably. So it would be, it reminds me of that story where a mother takes her child to the yogi and says, please tell him not to eat jaggery. And the master says, come back after 3 weeks. And then they go back after 3 weeks, and then again he says, no, 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 I'm sorry, but I can't do this now. You have to come back after 2 weeks. And then finally, after 2 weeks after that, when they go, the master says, beta, don't eat jaggery like this. It's not good for your health. And then the mother is shocked to say this. Why did you call us all the way here? So many times. And then he says, well, 3 weeks ago, I tried, I could not. And over the last 2 weeks, I've been able to manage to stop eating jaggery myself. Otherwise, I was eating a lot of jaggery myself. And only when you said it, did I realize that I was eating too much jaggery. So, in some sense, if we are able to deal with that in our own lives, in front of them, involving them in that process, then I think they will be best placed to be able to deal with it themselves. Because each of us, whether we are an adult or a child, in this world, if you want to communicate, if you want to connect, and if you want to learn also, I would say there are so many more avenues through the screen than being away from the screen. So I don't think we should treat screen time as purely entertainment time, but rather as a thing, one of the many distractions that we need to manage in our lives, whether it is jaggery or screen time.
Also, I think if you look at it from an open learning perspective, yeah, yeah. So if you look at it from an open learning perspective, the way I see it is that the child is at least start making a choice. That okay, when I'm given the choice, I'm doing this. So to me, first of all, that itself is a beginning. Now the whole idea is how can we invite the child to, like how Pranav was saying, get engaged into things that the child really likes. So that's now the child needs to realize that okay, whatever I like doing, whether it's cycling or playing with water or playing with colors or jumping around, everything is worth exploring, everything is worth learning. Everything is, everything is superb. And if we put everything on an equal platter, just as an example, in a conventional sense, if one child is sitting quietly and reading, another child is just jumping around making some kind of funny sounds, we will consider the child who is sitting as to be the one who is getting learning, while the child who is jumping around is not learning. Now, to me, that's very unfair, because that's just two different explorations that are happening. And that is what open learning precisely means, that I am learning not just how I want to learn, but whatever I want to learn. And that becomes so beautiful. So when the child starts exploring and starts valuing each endeavor that the child wants to take in. And as Pranav was mentioning, his daughter has so many endeavors, so many things to do that she has no time or less time for other things, right? In which could be screen time, or she might be using screen for a lot of other her own projects and stuff like that. So by itself, neither books nor screens nor anything else, bat ball, nothing is good or bad. The idea is to, can we start with the child being the driver's seat, and I think, and then the child discovering that how can I drive my life. And I think that is the beauty of the ownership, the leadership is what, at least in my small experience of seeing different children, when they start taking their own leadership, that itself is such a beautiful, you can say, blooming of their own individuality. So I don't know if that's an answer to your question, but that's the way I would like to look at it, rather than get locked up in this whole debate about screen or no screen, which Duji has already kind of put to rest by saying, hey, we all need it in a way. It's all part of our life.
In fact, I would say Misty is into making of content which is put on the screen. So she makes YouTube videos so somebody else can watch it. So that's her project. So I don't know how fair or good or bad that is, but yeah.
So regarding screen time, even I have to say something, because this is one topic, like one area of concern which generally we have heard of from, like, even we had or we would have. But the thing is, I think with screen there are many tangents to it. One is that which Pranav said, ki if you are interested in so many things, then you'll not have enough time for screen. That is one tangent. Another is, if I am myself so much involved in it, then how can I ask my child to not get involved in it? That is another tangent. Then third is, today everything on this earth is on screen, then how do you avoid screen? Then fourth tangent is the content. So today on screen, I feel means there are so many different types of content. The content can be constructive, destructive, all types of content we have seen. Like many different types of videos, or any other, like even verbal things or even visual things. Anything can be constructive or destructive. So what kind of content we are consuming, that is also very important. Because because one type of content can become somebody's career. One type of content can drive someone to maybe nowhere and waste the person's time completely. So there are many different angles to the screen time thing. So yeah, that's what.
Thanks, Preeti.
Yeah, in line with what Preeti had said, my daughter is very much interested in making films and shows and all. So it's very necessary for her to have that screen time. She can't avoid it. So what do we use that screen time is more important, rather than labeling it as screen time itself. That is what I wanted to say.
I also want to add, my 4-year-old, so he has been into screen like from 2 years or 1.5 years. So he used to watch rhymes, and from there he learned a lot about construction vehicles. So apart from that, so he keeps watching rhymes, and now the screen time with the screen, he just goes to the mic and then he says origami, duck origami, that origami. I want to watch wild cracks. So he goes there, he uses that, and he made origami last week. So it's in a way, sometimes it helps. It evolves. Basically, kids, everyone evolves with the screen.
Okay, so
Yeah.
let's have,
Okay, so
yeah, go ahead, Yanni, but I'm also inviting more thoughts, more questions. We seem to have almost half an hour on screen time only. So I'm also inviting, yeah, you can share your point, Yanni, and then I'm just inviting more people to, let's talk about different aspects of open learning. Yeah, go ahead, Yanni, please.
yeah, thank you. So, from all the other perceptions that we have seen, apart from that, I would like to put 2 points. One thing is like it is totally detrimental to a child, depending on the age. Very surely, I believe, because of the developmental or social interaction part when the child is younger. Because I've seen parents giving them the mobile phones to make them eat, or when they want them to be quiet, using this as a technology to keep the child quiet or to make the child do whatever they want the child to do. For that, it's been used, and that is the start of the negative side of media, I would say. So that way, the parents have been using it in a negative sense. So that is totally wrong, and those children are addicted to it, and they continuously watch whatever they know to scroll, or they are. It's user friendly. They use it very well, actually. So that apart. When children, I believe, lose they want to be in the moment, they want to interact with people, they want to interact with whatever they have at their hand, with the objects or with the surrounding environment, everything, and that's how they learn, like we were talking about. So they interact with whatever they have they can reach to. So when that is down, or when people are not interacting with them, like they are engaged in something else and they are not interacting with the child properly, possibly the child resorts to this, which I have seen in many children. So I think when we slowly move them towards positive engagements, they might come out of it. If I'm answering her question, to bring the child out of it. To create more meaningful engagements, but also have it not as a we cannot say that's totally wrong and don't do that. Instead, give more positive and interactive sessions, more be happy, joy, a lot of play time and all that. So slowly they will come out of it because that's what they want. Okay, we can move to the next.
Yeah, and in that case, I think parents are misusing the screen time.
Okay, I want to move ahead of the screen discussion. We have had quite a bit of time spent on it. So let's invite more thoughts and more questions about open learning. I hope Vilmani's question is well taken care of, at least for today, though any topic is an endless topic. But just inviting people to share more thoughts, more questions regarding to more aspects of open learning. Right, so please go ahead and share your questions. Oh, it's all quiet. No other question.
Elmani has posted something in the chat.
Oh, okay, sorry, I didn't see the chat. Sorry, I'm not sure I understand your question. You're saying How about platform intro for them? Without a platform, how could they get the drive? I'm not sure totally understood your question. If somebody has understood our question, please respond.
Sir, I could, shall I summarize the question?
Please.
Sir, actually, in a previous generation, right? Everyone in the family will be doing something, will be working and will be hand working. So kid will be engaged in somehow so they will have the drive to learn. But nowadays, now, if suppose both parents are just going to work, kids don't have any exposure or platform to just see something new. So in such cases, how should we take it to the next level for open learning? What should be our next step? What should be the platform we should take over in the open learning?
Okay. Would somebody respond? Okay, Yanni has already responded. The whole world around them is their platform. Yeah. That is definitely, we talked about that in the presentation also. But I guess you're also indicating as to what can be our role. And one of the, I would say the first role would be to give them that space that, hey, you can decide what you want to do. I think this itself is not something that we give them. We send them to some place, let's say school or a class where somebody else is deciding. And then whatever little balance time is left is more looked upon as, okay, now I need to rest or chill or whatever. Or so the whole responsibility part is never really given to them. So it's, to me, it's not so much about the parent working, not working, busy, not busy, but it's more about how we look at the child and how we invite the child to start thinking about, hey, I've got this time with me. Let's say I've got 1 hour today, or I've got 5 hours today, or I've got the whole day today. What all do I want to do? Or what all activities or what all things which I would like to explore? And I think slowly as the child starts thinking, it's not in the day one that the child will be able to come up with list, and that's where our role can come in to help the child think through. But as the child thinks through, I'm sure the child will, over a period of time, create that platform that you are talking about. So it's not for us to create that platform for the child. It's for us to invite the child to create the environment which the child wants for himself or herself, with we being the co-creator with the child. So that's the way I would look at it again. That it's not my responsibility. I don't have to offer anything. I don't have to create any kind of physical, mental, emotional, social. No. I am not creating any environment, any platform. But I'm saying to the child, hey, you can create it now. I can be there, sit with you and create with you. And I'm okay to walk with you till in the way in which you want to create your life. That's when the child is leading his or her life. More thoughts? Let's have a more discussion on this. Sorry, I jumped in with my thought immediately.
Okay, so this is from my last 1 month experience. So sometimes the child already has a drive. So it's just that we need to, step away from them and give them the space to do it. So this is what has been happening at my home since last 1 month. So I had been constantly, going on and asking my kid, what are you doing? Why can't you do this way, that way? That kind of has been happening. But for the past 1 month, I've stepped back. So no questions. So just reflection at the only during the reflection time. So once we are done, then maybe we kind of discuss. So and the child is already driving his own passion, whatever he wants to. And yeah.
I would like to add that even though the child may find first, he may find a drive to do painting or drawing, that will not continue. It may or may not continue. So we have to be ready to accept it and give them that space actually. Because my daughter, when she first joined, she was very much interested in the philosophy for few months, and later on she was interested in psychology, and later she was interested in digital art, and later now she's very much interested in film. Like it keeps on changing and it keeps on evolving. So this drive, all those things, like let's say they might already have, like they might think that we want to explore this, they do that, and they might like it very much or they might not like it. So no, no, I don't like this. I'm not interested in doing all these things. They might jump. So we have to be ready to accept them what they are doing. That acceptance is also very much important.
More thoughts? Or are we kind of on the line of uh, what you were? I don't know if you were expecting these answers, but is that what your question was? Maybe you can give a follow-up question so that we can develop on that. Or others can add to that question if you have something related, or if you have another question, that's also fine. So I guess by now, most people would have realized that this isn't really, we are not going to just talk. You'll have to throw us some thoughts, some questions, and then that's when we will respond. So yeah, it's in a way, the session itself is co-created. You have to create something and then we will create on top of that.
I have a question, sir. I'd like to know how the fellow parents here they started unlearning because we've been regularly conditioned in a particular way. So now, if even if I want to allow my child to take the lead, I should first be able to unlearn. Like I have to put down everything I've been conditioned in all these years to enable myself first to understand that okay, my child can is capable of doing whatever she wants to do. So I want to know how fellow parents here they unlearned whatever was pre-taught to them, because I find it very difficult. See, even if I want to let her do something on her own, people around me they start scaring me, and it makes me question myself, oh my god, if am I doing it wrong or what is happening. So yeah, I would like to receive some opinion on that.
So I think as a fellow parent, one of the fellow parent, I would just say, uh, start living with that fear. It's okay. There's no problem, living with that fear, and but don't get too stuck into that. So the point here I'm trying to make is, say, as if you were to ask me specifically, our journey to this started say 3 to 4 years back. So point is you are open to listening to others. You're open to exploring, open to different ideas, open to different thoughts. So you're not restricting yourself to a particular notion or the tradition or something like that. You're open. So not saying that that tradition or that method or is wrong, but just being open about talking about various things. So that's where we start first, and gradually, once you understand something and it convinces you as not as me as a father or me as a mother or me, it's about the family and as a child as well. So everybody has to be on the same page in a way, and And from there, probably you can just look at what is the worst case scenario. अगर ये जाते हैं तो इसमें क्या होएगा? So, and from there, probably you can begin, and there will be fears. So even we have fears today. I have my apprehension, I have my doubts, but fine, we have decided on a certain particular method, particular path, and we are living that path. And in the moment today, as of now, I'm loving it. I'm loving this moment. I am loving that time with my family, and things are going pretty well for me. Not only for me, for my child and everybody. And there is a constant discussion. What do you say? Constant deliberation. Are we on the right track? Do we need to kind of relook at this? So that also happens. So yeah, that's it. So being fear, I don't say be fearless sort of thing.
Also, like since we have been used to the conventional schooling, I think till 10th standard, we just go to school, and our parents and we, for our kids, if we are going to conventional, we'll just rely on the school structure. Okay, they have formed a structure, they have a curriculum and all those things, so everything will be go according to that, and so that's why we feel that as a safety net. And only thing when we have this fear is when the kids go to the 10th standard and 12th standard level, whether they are doing well, whether they'll gain the adequate marks for a particular group, or whether they'll go to the desired college, all those things. That same fear in open learning we'll have daily. That's it. But it doesn't affect anything. We'll just go on day after day, like Pranav said, live for today. We have fear, and sometimes we feel very much elated and proud of how a kid is taking up his or her responsibility. So both these things will be there. You just know, like you have started becoming more broad-minded and open-minded to just to think that I don't want the conventional thing. Let the kid do whatever she wants. So that itself a change within you. So anyways, we don't do harm to our children. So there will be all kind of ambiguous feelings, emotions, and it's okay. We all have passed through that and passing still.
And if I may just add, Induja, we have to trust the child and believe the child can do it. The child can make for himself or herself the way we have come up in our lives. Like somewhere we are also products of this society in whatever way we are, and we have made it till thus far wherever we are. I'm not saying it's a particular strata or particular income level or particular social background. I'm not getting into that part. I'm just saying we are there surviving, living, and having a particular life, and we have to believe that the child will figure it out. So let's not worry too much about what environment we are creating and what others are saying. Yes, as long as you believe in your child, most of the things will be taken care of. And I think probably even Lakshita could be a good help here.
Yeah, I would like to share that even before Ananya, she's 10-year-old now, and even before her, I myself had this idea of like, am I bothered about what anyone is telling about what I'm doing? What's their opinion of what I'm doing? Is my every decision or whatever I choose is influenced by what others will tell or what others would think about that? I would do the opposite actually. I would make sure that it's not something everyone likes. Not because everyone likes, I would never do it. So I would make sure that it is not influenced by others' judgment of what I should be. I cannot fulfill or live for others' expectations. So others' opinions of whatever I am doing must not bother me, or I'm least bothered about all that. And slowly I see others following what I want to do, whatever I'm doing. So they start following that. Okay, this seems good. So let us follow that. So I like to question everything. So I think this opinion of others and others disturbing and bringing the fear in you should be put aside, and we should prefer on what I need and how my child goes and where the journey is taking the child. That is more important, I believe. So when we start focusing on that, this then it becomes more meaningful.
Uh, this is Lakshita. I'm sorry I had some mic problems. So I didn't really understand like what exactly the question is since so many people spoke about so many things. Can somebody just like clarify?
Hinduja, could you repeat the question for Lakshita? Lakshita is like she'll help you out probably.
Yeah, my question was, how do I unlearn from what I've been taught? Because I want to let my child take the lead to learn whatever she wants. But first, I have to unlearn what I've been taught. Like I went through conventional schooling, and people around me, they have also went through conventional schooling. So now, when I tell them, or when I tell myself, I want my child to lead. I want her to take up her own path. Um, I first, I don't know myself if I'm ready to let her do that. And even when if I'm ready, if I feel like I'm ready and I take the first step, there are immediately many opinions from others telling I'm making the wrong move. I'm trying to do the wrong thing. I'm wasting her life. So how do I first? How do I unlearn whatever I've been taught? That was my question. I hope that was understandable.
So yeah. So I will invite Lakshita to tell it from her perspective. We would say she's a child, though she's not that a child. But from her perspective, how she sees world and from where she comes. So our society is fearful of our decisions for our children. Rather, let's listen from children themselves what they are thinking of the things around them. Probably that will give us some confidence.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, Lakshita, please.
Yeah. So what I think is that it's just as hard for me or like for your child to do those things that you want them to take the lead, as it's as much hard at it's as hard as it is for you. It's also that much hard for them. So like it's really difficult to not take anybody else's opinion, because like it's just hard not to. I think the best way you can overcome that is just do those things anyway. Like if you want to do that, even if you're afraid, like there is still that part of you who which wants to like let your child take the lead. So I just suggest trusting that part, since you know that's like the main thing, that's like the main voice behind this question, right? So before you get like super overwhelmed with what others are saying, just like let your child, or like whatever you intend for your child, like let that just happen, because the result might be good or bad, that doesn't matter. The point is that you made that decision yourself from what you thought was right, and like you can learn more from that. Like you can like analyze what went right or what went wrong after that. I don't really know how to describe it, so I don't know if I'm making sense, but like that's what I think. Since there's a motive behind it, like just go through with it even if you're scared, because once you do that, it's going to be really freeing. It's better than having to like succumb to what other people are saying and their opinions, because they don't really know what's going on in your head, or like what exactly you intend.
So Induja, thanks, Lakshita. Specific to how do I unlearn, or how what help is available to unlearn, I can only say interact with as many other families, other parents. So you are in the right place today. And I hope you keep interacting with not just Aarohi families, but other families. And that's precisely why we have a community, so that we can connect with each other, share with each other can pull each other, and so on. I think that's where the real unlearning happens. And not just other parents pulling us. The beauty in a community is that there are other children, and more than the parents, the other children are pulling us. So the amount of time for me unlearning has happened because a child came in and my face said something which, oh my goodness, oh, this is like this. I never thought of it this way. Right. So it's literally the children who help us unlearn, provided we say to ourselves, I am open to, as you said, you call it unlearning, learning, whatever you want to call it. If you're open to it and you allow more and more, you interact with more children, more families, be part of a community, then yes, then it's like togetherness. And then the unlearning is fun. And then there is, I would say, it's really not anxiety. Then we realize it's just part and parcel of a journey, right? And that it's, I would call it the excitement. Some people call it anxiety. I call it, it's exciting how what Pranav was saying about living in the day and problems coming up, and then we're trying to reflect back and build from there. But really the big support is when there are more people around you who are thinking alike. In contrast to typically all your friends and neighbors would be the conventional thinking kind. So that builds the pressure. So to diffuse that pressure, just interact more with other families. That's the way I've seen helping many families, and definitely helping me over the last so many years.
Thank you so much, everyone, for your wonderful, valuable inputs. Actually, it makes me feel better.
So can I take 1 minute and just share one small instance which recently happened? Uh, yeah. So Ratish, we were just playing one game. I was playing with a I think 7 or 8-year-old girl. I was playing a game, and in that game, it's a 2-player game. And her father was there, and a couple of my other friends were there. They were all adult, of course, 40 plus. And in this game, it was that girl's move, her move, and everybody was advising her, don't do this, don't do that, don't move this, and she knew the game. It was not that she didn't know the game, but everybody was that with that assumption that no, this move probably will not work. And I was just casually like saying, let her play, whatever be the result, let's not worry about that, let her play. And trust me, in the next move, the move she played was so simple and so obvious that she actually lost the game. And so we start with that assumption or presumption that we know better. We know things, probably child is child and I'm an adult. So that whole thing is a thing. So probably if we just let the child do for that moment, probably she would have lost the game, or she, whatever be the result. I'm not saying this because of the outcome of the game. The point was she was so confident about that move, but everybody was kind of prohibiting or stopping her from doing that. And that's what we do most of the times. So just sharing that instance. And I happily lost the game, so I'm happy about losing that game.
Okay, so we are around 6:10. We can spend some time also if people have any Aarohi specific questions. So we can take those also, apart from any other questions related to open learning. Some of you have joined in late. Late in the sense of time, but it's the right time for you to join. I see Swati, Sarah, Gaurav. So please come on. You can still ask your questions. Don't worry. Whatever time you joined was the right time. So please go ahead, and you can connect with us. Sure, sure.
Thank you, sir. Being open and in open learning community, how will you handle kids know, and how will you handle that wasting of things? how will you handle their no's? When they say no, and how will you handle not to waste things, right? If suppose they have something to just escape something, and if they're just breaking something, then how will you handle that? I couldn't frame my question, Paka, but the thing is that how will you handle their no, and how will you?
Yeah, but first you will have to tell me who is responsible for the child in
I couldn't
open
get
learning.
you.
In open learning, who is responsible for the child and his action or her action?
Her action.
Yeah, who is responsible?
Can you once again repeat the thing, sir?
I'm saying in open learning, who is responsible for the child and the child's actions? That's my question to you.
Her thinking, her interest.
Okay. And if so, in a way, you are saying that the child is responsible because the child is responsible for her thinking. So she is responsible for her actions, isn't it? So now tell me who will handle her actions.
The thing is that the same what that sister, some sister was talking. The same question: how should we react in that moment? I know she learned somehow. How should our reaction be? What should we do then? How should we not say anything? How should our reaction be?
That's what I'm saying. It's not a question of what we do, how we do it. It's a question of first we need to decide who is responsible. I think the whole game changes when we start thinking of who is responsible. If we think we are responsible, then I have to come up with ideas. Then I have to come up with ways how the child should do something, or how the child should not waste, or how the child. But if I don't think I am responsible, then my whole, and the child is responsible for his or her actions, then my whole approach automatically changes. Right? When you open a refrigerator, you don't expect a warm food. When you open an oven, you expect a warm food, right? So it depends on which doors you are opening, refrigerator door or the oven door. Right? So we are assuming that the child is not responsible. That is why we are thinking we have to handle. And that is where the whole issue lies.
Yeah, sir. I have a thought in me that being a parent, I am responsible for her actions. I have the thought in build because everyone will be saying, why are you teaching like that? She's like this because of you only. It's you who is spoiling her. So you have to change her, you have to guide her. So I don't know how out of that thought.
So start thinking about it, talking about it, and how would, first of all, forget how will you make the child responsible. First of all, you need to think, do I want to be responsible for my child, or do I want to hand over the child's responsibility to the child? Start thinking about it. I'm sure rest will evolve. Right? It is, I'm there with you. We are very used to thinking I am as a parent responsible, and because everybody else is also pointing fingers at us. But let's say today, 29th October, you start thinking, every time, do I want to be responsible, or would I invite the child to be responsible for herself or himself? So start with that, and then let's see how the journey evolves. And it's a lifelong journey. Don't think it will get over tomorrow. It's a lifelong journey. All of us are understanding our own responsibility towards ourselves and the world throughout our lives. It's not one line answer. I cannot say that I am more responsible than my child. No. I'm still trying to understand my responsibility towards myself and the world around me, as much as my child and any child is understanding his or her responsibility towards himself and the world. So it's a journey. It is not like a maths examination where I scored 90% and I'm done with. Yeah, though this is not a subject anywhere, except for in maybe open learning. Sorry, others, please add. I think I took her on a total tangent. I don't know what was Wilmani expecting, but this came totally different. So please add in your way or your thoughts.
Like also, like when we say or when we think that the child is responsible for his or herself, and we go through in one direction, like a method or a practice, we get that like self. We question ourselves, or we get that concern only when others comment about us, like why she's like this because of you only, because of that only. So that's when we question ourselves. Like if we let go of others' comments and all those things and do what is right, what we feel is right for a kid, and what we feel like mm, our practice or method is right and is good for it, and we feel let go of others' comments and all, that itself will be a great improvement. There will be, of course, like elders and people from other generations, earlier generations, they will give comments, and others will say, like, this is the proper way to behave, this is not the proper way to behave, all those. But we should let go of all those, their comments. That is what I'm saying. Is you know how to, what to do and how to do for your kids, and you'll do it in your own time. There is no specific standard. So even though it gets very late or very gradually or even within swiftly, whatever it is or however it happens, it's your thing. That is important. That's it.
Um, I'm again inviting people who have not really shared or asked anything. Sarah, Swati, uh, once again, welcoming you to this meetup. And as I said, one way is obviously to listen whatever conversation is going on, but it would be interesting to hear your questions, your thoughts, your experiences. So please share. It's a meetup, so we just if you talk, then we can connect with you, and if you can come on video, that would be even more amazing, and then we get a video connect. And but if you would like to use chat to ask a question or share a thought, please feel free to use chat also. Okay. Anybody else has any other thought or wants to talk about anything? Otherwise, we normally close at 6:30, but if there are no questions, we can close early and have an early dinner today.
So just to add to what Vilmani was asking, Vilmani, so as a parent, if you are concerned about certain things which your child is doing or whatever, probably there can be a talk within you and your child. It's not because of somebody else is saying about it. So you can share your, feelings about anything that the child is saying. If you feel somebody is getting wasted, or so you can share your thing and let the child, figure out a way. As Rajneesh was mentioning, it's a child who will probably, figure out the way how to handle it. So so as a parent, probably that's what you can do, as in you can share your concern. Okay, I also feel concerned about this, and that's where it is. So that is one way. And second is also directing the question. If somebody is asking you as a parent, okay, what are you doing as a parent, and I would rather disassociate myself from my child in a way that you ask this question to child itself. So better the child addresses that situation in the way, and probably the child would have a particular reason what's happening there. Like if something is getting wasted or something is or no or whatever was the issue, Probably child would have a better reason or understanding of why the child is behaving in a particular manner. Probably not even you as a parent. So it's better that those questions are directly addressed to the child itself. But as a parent, your intervention could be, okay, I understand with my child, speak to my child and address my questions or share my concerns rather, and talk as a family. That's what I would do.
Okay, I think Shakila has added it's also about talking, discussing, reflecting, which is what I think Pranav was underlining about his or her responsibilities. And that way they become aware of their responsibility. Absolutely. That's wonderful. Okay, Induja is wanting introduction to Aarohi and its functioning. Okay, so who wants to share that? Who wants to talk about how Aarohi functions? Anybody wants to make a
Preeti?
quick? Preeti, yes, this is
I
your
think
bit.
Ratnesh, you only take it today.
No, somebody else. Yeah, I've talked enough.
Okay, I can then go. How Aarohi functions. So, so there are two. Abhi to, there are many. Like how Ratnesh has already shared in his presentation, that Aarohi is everywhere. Open learning is everywhere. So it is in our own house, plus in the house of other open learners, plus at the campus. So that way. But typically, Aarohi has a campus in Hosur, Kelamangalam, near Bangalore. So there. There you can visit as guest first, and then definitely be part of Aarohi family. Then another is if you're far distant, like I am from Mumbai, so we are connected via online Aarohi X, which is like we are constantly in touch with everybody through Zoom calls and through Discord. That's an app through which we share our doings and share our concerns, or share whatever is there in our heart, and there'll be someone or the other from the community who will support you, help you, or something in everything that you share. These are the two ways how we are part of Aarohi. Apart from this, yes, we keep visiting each other's houses. We keep going out together. Like we are very recently going to Mulki and do water surfing. So some 20-25 people are there who are going for it. So that is another way. Then yeah, that's what, like, spreading the joy of learning, spreading the joy or the happiness of being in this community is what Aarohi is. Sorry. This is what I can share.
That was super. Induja, now you'll have to ask questions.
Yeah, if we want to come and visit Aarohi, when can we do that?
Very good time. Excellent time that you've asked this question. You can come. Where are you based? If you are somewhere around Bangalore or Chennai or Coimbatore or Salem, means somewhere around Hosur, then you can on 6th of November, there is an open learning meetup, in-person meetup in the campus itself. So you can come on that day and have a good time in Aarohi campus. Then apart from that, Ratnesh, please can you share? Uske baad there is guest week also, whole week also, right? If
Yeah.
I'm not wrong.
So there are two options. Every Thursday you can visit. So that's like a half day visit. Or if you want to come and stay for a week, which is actually the best way, because then you can really experience open learning. Then there are certain weeks which are kept for that purpose. You'll have to go to the website, and either for day visit or for stay visit, either which way, just visit the website. I'll post the link also right now in chat, and you will get both the options, the week stay option and the option of coming for a half day. And apart from that, as Preeti mentioned, there are also meetups which happen at the campus, which the next one is happening on 6th of November, which is next week. So you can also come for those. So yeah, I would say just visit the website and you will get all these details. I've just posted the link. And there is a registration form there itself, so you can just use that form to register whatever day or week works out for you.
Thank you very much.
Most welcome. Okay, so we have kind of almost come to the end of our today's meetup. We kind of close at 6:30. So I would just like to say thank you to everybody. And yeah, please, if you want to talk more about open learning, need some support, this is the place, this is the forum that you can be. If you want to be part of Aarohi community of families, then you can connect with us, and obviously Meetup again is one place to get to know, so that you get to know whether you want to be part of the community or not. And so keep coming. We are here every Saturday to talk and to share and to discuss and explore different aspects of open learning, and hopefully give the feeling to everybody that you are not alone. We are all together in this lovely journey of you can say learning with learners, if I may call it that way. Yeah. So thank you, and have a great weekend, and hopefully see you either in person here or in the meetups in future, and always there to support you. Thank you.
You.